Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? Okay, so it's been so long since I came back, since I've been on. I've been in school. I started school in August to get my RN. So that's what I've been up to. I do have like 3 or 4 videos on school, like those first couple semesters. I did the first med surge and the transition class from LPN to RN, and then the first med surge, and now I'm in OB and pediatrics. So that's what's been going on, if you've been wondering. But if you have any requests on like school and how to study or anything like that, then let me know. But anyway, this video is back to long-term care. Okay, so this video is gonna be on elopement, and so this video is gonna be on elopement. I do have a video on elopement already. That's more so on policy related to an elopement, so how you should handle an elopement. And this video is going to be like more how to prevent an elopement, and also I'm going to touch on another situation involving family members. So let's get into it. So an elopement, if a patient gets out the building, basically, if it's on the property, I forget whether that's an elopement or not, but if they get out the building and you don't know, it's an issue. That's how you should look at it regardless of policy. But definitely know your policy. Policy is there. It will protect you if you follow it. If you deviate from policy and you're doing your own thing, that's where your company is going to be like, sorry, you shouldn't have been doing that, and you're on your own. So like in that kind of situation, if you do it unknowingly or something, you should have malpractice insurance just to protect you. Because yeah, your company has lawyers, but you should have your own lawyer, because they're looking out for the company. The company lawyers looking out for the company. You need somebody on your side. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to be going off on too many tangents here. So policy. Know your company's policy. It's not as simple as you would think. Like you start looking for the patient and you just call the family and you call the cops. It's not that simple. It's a big deal, and it's a procedure to it. So know your policy and procedure. If an elopement does happen, it's horrible. Like you don't want it to ever happen to you. Like everybody's gonna be looking at you like, well, when did you see the patient last? And you should have answer like this, like, I just saw them an hour ago, or they were just in their bed, or blah 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 blah. You have to know where your patients are. So the second you come on your shift, like, yeah, you can get report, that's fine, it's only a couple minutes, but as soon as you're done report, first thing you do is check on your patient. No exceptions. Like, I don't care. Unless there's a code going on, that's the only situation where you are not doing rounds as the first or the second thing you're doing after report and the narcotic count. So, to do rounds, you need like a list. Room 1. Who's in that room? What's their name and what do they look like? You have to have an armband on the patient so you can identify the patient. Dementia patients will get in any bed if you don't know and you're new to long-term care. Dementia patients could get in any damn bed they want and be sleeping like it's their own bed. So you have to know the room number, the patient that's supposed to be there, and identify the patient. If they are not in that bed and they are not in that room, where is that patient? You have to know. You have to know. Where's that patient? Are they in activities? Are they in therapy? Are they on a LOA? Are they at the hospital? Are they on an appointment? What's going on? Where are they at? Are they in the lobby? You know, like, where the heck are they? Track them down. Like, you can do it right then and there. You can go through. I always put a dot next to their name. And, like, if I see somebody from the shift before, I'll be like, where's so-and-so? You know what I mean? But I'll continue on with my rooms. And find everyone. And everybody should be in their room. Everybody should be in their bed, especially on morning shift. Everybody should be in their bed. It should be like one person out of bed, and you gotta go find them. On 3 to 11, it's way more tricky. I used to do 3 to 11. I'll tell you a story. I had a patient. I said this in the last video on elopement, but I'm gonna say it again. He scheduled his own transport, scheduled his own appointment, and left. Nobody knew. I knew, because I do my rounds the second I get a report. I knew. Nobody else knew. Where? And it turns out he left a couple hours before that. Nobody knew. So that can happen. And you can't rely on technology. Wander guards expire. Technology is technology. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the door is open and a patient can go through the doorway and the alarm gets turned off, but nobody realized the patient went through the doorway because they didn't follow through and check the alarm going off and say, you know, is anybody in the stairwell, or is anybody getting off the elevator, or whatever. So pay attention to alarms. Do your rounds when you get on the shift. If they're not in the bed, you have to find them. So that's in the beginning of your shift. Say you're done your med pass, you sit down and you're documenting. It's 10 o'clock, you're documenting. A couple hours just passed. So say you get up, you take your blood sugars, hand out trays, whatever, blah, 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 going on about your business. You deviated from what you learned in school, which is every 2 hours you do your rounds. If you deviate from that, it's on you. If something happens, if it goes to court, or if your D1 administrator is like a damn judge or a lawyer, they're gonna want to know what the heck were you doing not checking on your patients. You should know if somebody's off the floor. You should know. So if you get on a 7, 8, 9, like after my med pass, I'm going through and checking on my patients. It takes like 5 seconds. Say you're going through and checking on the patients and someone's like, I need to get on the toilet, and the next person's like, I need ice water. You be like, I'll be right with you. You continue checking on your patients. Don't get distracted. Just check on your patients every 2 hours. If somebody's not there, put a dot next to their name and find them. That's how you make sure that you don't lose a patient. I mean, if you lose a patient, everybody in that building has to look for the patient under the beds, in the closets, in every bathroom, in every office. God knows where they could be if you really can't find them. Then somebody has to get in their car, drive around and look for this patient. Police have to be called. The family has to be called. Corporate has to be called. That would be embarrassing. That would be horrible. I was so scared one time because I did not know where this patient was. But therapy had him. But I couldn't get in touch with therapy, so I literally had to go down to the therapy room and then I found her. But it's horrible when you lose somebody. So no. And also on your rounds, you got to figure out, is everyone breathing? You know what I mean? You're paying attention to that. Don't only look at that there's a person in the bed, because if it's 7 to 3 or a night shift and they're in the bed sleeping, make sure they're breathing. All right, off of the tangent. So here's the other situation that's kind of like an elopement, but not. If you have a patient going out, say they go out all the time with this one family member, and all the time they leave and they come back just fine. Don't get complacent and let them leave without signing out in the chart. When the patient's family member signs them out in the chart, the patient out in the chart, that family member is now accepting responsibility. You need that. You do not know what is going to happen when they're out there. They could drop, they could be on the side of the road, they could get, God knows what could, there's a million things that could happen when they leave your facility. So you have to get that signature stating that, where the family member states that I accept responsibility for taking this patient with me, for taking my mom with me, or my brother, or my sister, whatever the relationship is to the patient. Also know who you're sending them out with. To my knowledge, I don't think you have to check IDs or anything. And I don't think it's to that level, but I always ask, like, oh, what's your name? How are you related to the patient? How do you know the patient? Oh, okay, great. Oh, okay. And then, like, I can write in my note that so-and-so states they're this relation. The patient left in this condition. Family accepted responsibility upon, LOA. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Are their vital signs stable before they left? And make sure that that family member accepts responsibility, because then whatever happens is not on you, or the facility, I should say. The facility is like, my hands are clean, I'm done. I have no responsibility for that patient because they left the facility and accepted responsibility. They're under the responsibility of somebody else. You need that signature. I had a patient leave, and the family member called back, like, asking some stuff, and I was like, I'm sorry, we cannot do it. I'm sorry. Like, you have to call the police. Like, if it's something out of your hands, you have to call the police. We cannot help you. It's your responsibility, because at that point, the patient isn't our responsibility, so we can't touch that. That's not on us. We'd be overstepping our bounds if we were to go and help. So once they leave and take that patient, let it be on them. And let it be on them with that signature every time. And everybody gotta be vigilant. Like, you gotta maybe let a CNA know, or CNAs, or, let's not let anybody leave the floor without, like, figuring out where they're going. At least get a verbal, oh, we're just going out to the patio or something, like, or, know where they're going. Because they could literally be taking the patient out of the facility and you don't even know. And if the person at the front door is not vigilant, then you got an issue. So you make sure that you do what you gotta do, so you're not relying on anyone else. Make sure you know where your patients are going, even if they're with the family member who you know from them being there on your shifts. Like, make sure you know, hey, where you guys headed? Like, oh, okay, well, even if you're going out front, you need to sign out the patient. That's policy in my job. Like, it needs to be documented that they even went out front. Now, I'm not onto every little legal aspect of why that is, but if they go out front, they sign out. So do not have an elopement on your hands. Make sure you know where your patients are. And to find your patients, you need all them phone extensions. You need the front desk. You need therapy. You need activities number. You need all them places where they could be, so you're not running around the facility looking for the patient. You need to be able to call therapy and be like, do you have so-and-so? Oh, they don't have them. Let me call activities. Do you have so-and-so? Make sure you have an activity schedule so you know where the activity is. If you have a place with 5 floors, you don't know where the activity is. It could be on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th floor. Know what's going on. Don't let too much time pass without you checking on your patient. All right, so I will link above the in more towards the beginning of this video, the other video I have on elopement where it might not be the exact same policy at your place, but at least you have something to ask about if you go to work. Like, hey, if it's the weekend and I have an elopement, what am I doing? Or if it's after hours and I have an elopement, what am I doing? Who am I calling? Who's the supervisor supposed to call? Because if it's a new supervisor, she might not know either. So you should know what you're supposed to do in an elopement. All right, and that's where it's tricky being an agency nurse, because you're supposed to be following policy if you're a nurse. Now, I don't know if there's different legal rules for agency nurses, but be careful. No, prevent elopements before they happen. Like, prevent them. Especially if you're an agency nurse and you don't know the policy where you're going. Don't let it happen. You know what I mean? Be safe. Not that policy is just there, like, you're supposed to do things a certain way. So if you deviate from that, who knows? So just know your policy on elopement, because it's something that we as nurses always need to be thinking about. Because if they get out, dementia patients will get out. And imagine if a dementia patient gets out, even if it's like outside the facility for like an hour and it's below 0 degrees. You can imagine. Even if they're just sitting out front and nobody realizes it, you can imagine. They will be hypothermic and they could literally die. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm gonna shut up and stop rambling as usual. I could go on for hours about elopement. Like, just know where your patients are. That's it. Any video requests, let me know. Maybe I could do it. Trying to make more time for YouTube, even though I'm in school. It's tough with school, trying to have all that balance. It's like an ongoing thing, trying to balance life with school, work with school, this and that. Okay, so I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.